Today's episode is brought to you by my parents, my wife, my brother, my son, and all of the people who are also here in our live studio audience, my friends, family members, and all the people I've met in my life, as well as all the people I have yet to meet. It's a lot of people. Today, I want to talk to you about the conversations that I'm leading. And when I say conversations that I'm leading, I think it's kind of a unique concept. I haven't read a lot about people talking about conversations as a leadership exercise, but for me, it really is. The word conversations, and take it apart and unpack it. The word con in Latin means with, con, verse, a song, and sations, I suppose you could say sensational. Sations means to plant or to sow. And so when I say a conversation that I'm leading, I'm talking about sowing or planting a song with all of you and with the world. So here's the 10 conversations I'm leading. Conversation number 1, every conversation shapes your life. It also shapes the lives of the people around you. Shapes your relationships. It shapes your achievements. It helps you to improve yourself and the people around you by improving your conversations. The second conversation is a conversation about speaking into existence what's possible. I believe that most of the limits that we face in our lives are self-imposed. That in reality, anything is possible, that you truly can have anything you want for yourself and your life if, number one, you give up the old conversation and then create a new conversation. The third conversation is to live your life with purpose. Now, I put a twist on that as the purpose of life is to lead a conversation. And perhaps that's too limiting. It's to lead many conversations. And the purpose of your life is whatever you say your purpose is. So that is a conversation. One of my role models, Jim Rohn, said, the purpose of life is not just to get through life, it's to get from life. And I've added to that, it's also to give to life. And we do that from the conversations that we're leading. Pablo Picasso said, the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. The fourth conversation is that you can change. So often we in life feel that not just ourselves, but other people in our lives are some way, but no one is some way. We're not fixed. We're flexible as long as we are willing to change. And how I believe we change is by changing the conversations. Fifth conversation has come up recently. I had a guest of my podcast who said, Ivan, your health is your wealth. Time is limited, that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to mind the conversation that we have with ourselves and others about our health to make sure that we maximize the amount of time that we have on this planet. With that in mind, encouraging all of us to live fully, to take action. And this is a quote from James Clear, who is someone that I also consider a role model. He said, every action is a vote for your future self. Has a great graphic about you and then all the different paths you could take based on the actions, big and small, to put yourself on a future trajectory. A phrase that I have used before is no one is getting out of here alive. And that's just to keep in mind how precious life is and how, unfortunately, that's how it ends. We're not getting out of here alive. Life is short, time is precious. And from that idea, it comes to me to take risks and to be vulnerable. So much of what I've done really just over the last couple of years in having a podcast and writing a book and writing content has had me needing to exercise tremendous courage and be vulnerable in putting myself out there. Before 2016, I didn't share anything publicly. I barely did any writing. And it's all since the beginning of 2016 that I started writing, started sharing. And at first, I was just sharing privately to a handful of friends by email. Then I was writing on LinkedIn. And I had to literally move my hand over to the mouse and push down to hit post. And even before doing that, had to give myself a pep talk like, Ivan, do it, do it. You have to share. You have to be vulnerable. Life is short. Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bowline, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Some of us are older than others of us, but there's a conversation that I want to put out there that it's never too late. No matter how old you are, you have the rest of your life left. It's never too late to recognize some kind of regret and do something meaningful. It's never too late to lead or to start a new conversation. Even on your deathbed, you can start a new conversation. Albert Einstein said there are only two ways to live your life. One, as though nothing is a miracle. The other, as if everything is a miracle. When I say lead a conversation, I want to lead that conversation, both for myself and for everybody in my life, is to really be present to the miracles. Like, it's actually a miracle that we're doing this right now in this forum. Tremendous. Embrace your humanity. This came from a conversation I recently had with my father, where I was unhappy with something that he said and the way that he said it. And I told him right away and set my boundaries. And he came back and he said, Ivan, being a human is hard. It's not easy. We keep showing up. I take the point of view that everything works out. This is something I have to keep telling myself with a podcast is, Ivan, just keep showing up. Have empathy for yourself. Have compassion for yourself and others. Forgive yourself and others completely. That is one that's particularly hard for me. I'm always holding myself to incredible standards and not just letting myself be. But it's really important to love what is and to let go. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. YOLO, you only live once. So with that, this is my keynote address for the world. These are the conversations that have come to me in my first 5 decades of life that I want to extend forward into the next 3 decades. And I say 3 decades because I believe time is short and limited. Anything beyond 3 more decades and 11,000 days, for those counting, is icing on the cake. With that, I want to thank you all for being a part of these conversations about conversation.